Welcome to the new STAR Directors Information session. My name is Marilee Freeman, and I will be the narrator for this presentation. I am the STAR State Coordinator and the ELA Sabes PD Center Director. I really want to thank you for participating in this PD opportunity today, and you will learn about the STAR online training. By going through this short presentation, you will be in a better position to support your teachers as they go through the training. You are looking at the agenda for today's session. First of all, let me introduce you to your STAR trainers. You've already met me and the three other trainers that we have. They're all STAR certified trainers are Jillian Moriarty, Yvonne Peters, Joan Schottenfeld, and the new ACLS liaison is Donna Varzen Parker. What is STAR? STAR is a professional development opportunity to help you and your teachers implement evidence-based reading instruction, otherwise known as EBRI. All the techniques that you will be learning in the training are evidence-based. Most adult education teachers don't have degrees in reading, and if they do have a degree, it is probably most likely related to the K through 12 system. When your teachers finish the STAR training, they will be able to say with a large degree of certainty that they know the most effective ways to teach reading to the intermediate level adult readers. And we focus on this particular level of readers because they are the largest group of learners and also because their needs are more complex. We pretty much know what to do with beginner readers. They need a phonics program with scope and sequence. We also know how to work with advanced readers, giving them content vocabulary and comprehensive strategy. But as you'll find in the training, the research indicates that the intermediate level readers are not a homogeneous group. Their needs vary, and this is why, as a whole, we have not been as successful in moving these readers forward to the next level where they can be successful in post-secondary education and employment. STAR focuses on the intermediate level readers, and it is important that teachers who will be participating in this training are actually working with the intermediate level readers. They will have practice assignments in the module to go back to and use in their classrooms and try out techniques with the intermediate level readers. STAR participation. Both directors or a director designee, assistant director, or site coordinator need to participate in the training. However, the directors do not need to complete the whole training. What they do need to complete is Section 1, which really explains everything you'll always want to know and need about diagnostic assessments. So we ask that the directors complete that Section 1 so they're familiar with how to administer the diagnostic assessments so they can help and support their teachers as they're going through that training. But what we do ask you to do is to then go through and watch the videos for the second and third sections where you will learn about how to use EBRI strategies. And then the STAR teachers must, again repeating, have a class of students who fall into the GLE range of 4 through 8.9 or the NRS level 3 and 4. Directors need to provide time and money for the teachers to complete all of this training. The trainers need your help to keep the teachers moving forward during the training. As you will see on the next slide when we show you the syllabus, STAR is a very lengthy and complicated training. Here is a sample of the syllabus. It actually is from our training coming up. So there are 3 meetings and 30 self-paced online modules. In order for STAR to be successful, directors need to find time for the teachers to complete the online modules and to provide the teachers with some kind of monetary compensation for doing all this work. It takes a lot of time to go through these modules. They watch a video and then they're asked to actually do something in the area of practice for that module. You'll see approximate times here, and so to watch a video it might take 60 minutes, but it could take another 60 minutes for the teacher to actually implement this. Hopefully you've already downloaded the syllabus which we put in for today's training so that you can see the whole schedule of what is going to happen. But focus on the first meeting is on. So in the STAR project, the research tells us the needs of intermediate level readers are very varied. For this reason, when working with these students, we need to do the diagnostic assessment in all 4 components of reading: alphabetics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. In the training, you will learn how to do these diagnostic assessments. You will also learn to look at the results and identify which components are instructional priorities for each student. And for those components that are instructional priorities, you will learn to identify the level of text that will be challenging but not too frustrating for instruction. And you'll also learn how to group students according to the components and levels of text they need to work on, and you will plan an instructional routine incorporating all the groups. And you will also learn EBRI instructional strategies for each of the components of reading. So your responsibility as directors is managed enrollment is required. If you choose to take the STAR training and sign your program up, this is a required piece. But you can decide whatever works best in your program. It could be 4 to 6 weeks, it could be twice a year. Whatever works for you is fine, and there is no time recommended between sessions. You also need to have a plan in place, and you will go over creating an action plan during the training. Here are some additional responsibilities. So here are some examples of what a STAR class group will look like and a daily STAR class routine. You see in the groupings are the 4 components of reading, and this teacher has assigned the students that she DAR'd into one of these different components of learning groups. And then based on the diagnostic assessment results again, she created or he created a daily STAR class routine. And you can see for this one day, they've allotted 25 minutes to vocabulary, 20 minutes to comprehension, and then 2 15-minute sessions for 2 different fluency groups. This is just an example of what the groupings and class routine will look like. Your classes and groupings should not look like this. And you will learn how to do this more during the training. Here is the action plan, and here is an example. And one of the goals here is to establish managed enrollment in the STAR class. And it gives some action steps on how they're going to get to that, the person responsible, a timeline on how long they think it will take, and any additional state support or technical assistance that you will need. And you will also need to support and mentor your STAR teacher. Keep asking that STAR teacher how everything is going. Do you need anything from me? Do you need me to help support you with anything? Keep asking them, because STAR is very overwhelming in the beginning. And maintain contact with us, the STAR trainers. We really want everyone to complete the training, and not only to complete it, but we want everyone to do it properly. So we are here to support you and want to support you and your teachers. So now some things to think about when you're selecting a STAR teacher. You have to select a teacher who is willing to accept new ideas, who will be willing to try and learn new strategies for teaching reading. And if possible, you want to select a teacher, I know this might not be possible, but if it is, that you know would like to remain in your program and has the time, inclination, and desire and passion to complete the STAR training. And we provide an annual STAR observation. So each program receives a STAR observation, which is done by one of our Massachusetts STAR certified trainers that I introduced in the beginning of the training. You will receive this support for the first 2 years after the completion of the training. An example is that you're in this cohort, so you will receive a STAR observation during. You should have also been able to download the STAR handbook, and there is more detailed information there if you want to read more about the observation. One of the pieces that is required, that is submitted to us before we come out for a visit, is your diagnostic assessment results. And of course, your students will be different. They won't look exactly alike, but this is where you determine the instructional priorities and determine STAR class grouping. And STAR does recommend that you only teach 2 to 3 components of reading at one time. And we will explain this and how you get to this quite thoroughly during the training. But this is just an example of one class's set of diagnostic assessments. So then you will need to create your class groupings. And again, everything comes from the diagnostic assessment results, which is why that is critical. You will use those diagnostic assessments to create your groupings. And again, you will learn how to do this during the training. But we need to review your diagnostic assessment results and these groupings prior to our visit. And here's your daily STAR routine that we just talked about a minute or so ago. And we need to look at these before we come out. Again, everything is based on the diagnostic assessments. And we also require that the instructor sends us a STAR lesson plan for the day before the observation and then one for the day of the observation. And what this does is having the diagnostic assessment results, the class groupings, the daily STAR class routine, and a lesson plan for the day before the visit, and a lesson plan for the day of the observation. This really helps the trainers get a better sense of what is actually going on and being taught in the STAR classes. And we also request that the director or whoever your designee might be to also be present during the observation. And after the observation, there's a debriefing following that observation and along with the STAR teacher. And this is important so that the director, the STAR trainer, and the teacher all sees and hears the same thing. The trainers do need time to review all this paperwork. As you see, there's a lot of paperwork that needs to be submitted, and all of us as trainers review everything quite thoroughly and carefully in order for us to be able to get a better sense and to be able to support you and make any suggestions or recommendations or even just a little bit of tweaking to what's going on in your classes. And if for any reason we don't receive all the materials, 2 days prior to the observation, we will need to cancel the observation. And this really will result in a delay of you and your teachers receiving important and valuable information about your implementation process. You need to ensure that your STAR teachers are maintaining fidelity to the STAR model. This is one of the reasons that the directors or a director designee are required to participate in the STAR training so that you will see and learn everything that your teacher needs to know, and you can help and support them along the way. So when determining a class schedule, again, managed enrollment is the key to success. In using the diagnostic assessment results to inform groupings is mandatory. And only STAR-trained staff can administer the diagnostic assessments of reading. And if you have been trained previously in STAR, if you have other teachers in your program who have been trained in STAR, or by any SAR-based training that offers the diagnostic assessment, which was most likely facilitated by John Strucker, are also eligible to administer the diagnostic assessment of reading. So this diagnostic assessment of reading includes assessment of the 4 components of reading: alphabetics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. A process for administering diagnostic assessment needs to be in place before the students are placed in a STAR class. And usually a diagnostic assessment of reading could take 30 to 40 minutes to complete, and that is one-on-one with the student. And as teachers get more confident in administering the test, the time will decrease, and it also will not take the full 45 minutes if you have a lower level reading student. And the good news is that the diagnostic assessment of reading is only administered once to a student. And again, can't emphasize this enough, that the STAR class groupings are based on those reading assessments. Just to review what needs to happen for implementation to occur and for you to be able to sustain STAR. You will need an ongoing process to do diagnostic assessments as new students come into your program during your managed enrollment time, so that you can determine whether they're eligible for the STAR class. A structured class schedule needs to be created. You need to allow adequate teacher time for planning and delivering the evidence-based instruction. And you will also need to create a collection of STAR recommended materials and resources. And all of these will be available during your STAR training. So again, just getting back to the STAR technical assistance, which is provided by your STAR certified trainers. We do this for the first 2 years after the completion of the training. And as you can see in that last bullet, if you ever have any questions, please reach out and contact me. And in order for change to happen for the needed implementation, you will need to create a time and space will be needed for the diagnostic assessments, for direct and explicit instruction to happen, and additional planning time to get started will be needed. The role of the program leaders is to identify and make the necessary changes to support implementation. And here is a draft of the overview of the training. As I may have mentioned, that the online training is divided into 3 distinct sections. And the first section is what is EBRI and how to administer diagnostic assessment. And again, this is the section that we ask the directors to participate and do those first 10 modules. Then section 2 is all about learning evidence-based instructional techniques for each of the 4 components of reading: alphabetics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. And then the final section of the training is how to create an instructional routine and grouping your students, and then your next step for implementation. And a key to success for STAR are the National Implementation Research Network synthesized the research on implementing complex change. As we mentioned before, leadership is one of the drivers of successful implementation. How well your program will be able to implement what you learn in the training about evidence-based reading instruction will be to some degree dependent on your leadership skills in helping the team identify and work through implementations as they arise. The research also indicates that support of a coach is also a key driver of successful implementation. And as I said earlier, this is why each program has a STAR certified trainer and TA person that will help you get through the training and help support and answer any questions. If you do have any questions, here is the contact information. Again, you see Donna Vires and Parker from ACLS, me, the STAR State Coordinator, and then contact information for the 3 trainers. So again, if you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to us. And here are the training dates now for this year's schedule.